Caroline. They done cut me off. Hey, Spice. They done cut me off. They done cut me off. Bastards. Talk about children in the video. I know Nature Boy did that, but children, I think children in the video. What kid they saw? I saw that. What happened? They threw out some damn kids in the video. I'm like, what the hell is they talking about? You see some kids in the video. Hey, yeah, they cut me off. Somebody got kids in the video. I ain't got no kids in the video. Gave me a community strike. And I ain't no kids in the video. Well, let's get started.
This is a struggle that women all across the United States of America and even the world, I think, have. You know, it's this issue with attaching one's identity, one's value, one's worth to his or her marital status. And for women, this is, you know, extremely um, volatile to have to say that I'm not married beyond a certain age. And society even plays upon this or these insecurities within the woman. Society says, well, if you're not married by such and such an age, you know, there's something broken with you. There's something wrong with you. And what happens is the woman begins to slowly and sometimes even quickly deteriorate in her own consciousness. And by this I mean her queen consciousness is what I call it in my book, Queenology. Her queen consciousness diminishes her capacity to see herself as valuable, her capacity to self love, her capacity to envision a bright and great future somehow dissipates under the falsehood of, you know, my not being married at a certain age makes me less than. And it is certainly a falsehood. And what happens is when you do not have a grasp or a handle, when you don't process um, life through the right filters, you allow the destructive conditionings of the world to guide your self assessments. When you don't have a means of processing life through godly and wise and truthful filters, you allow the self destructive conditionings of the world to skew your self assessment. In other words, now the world is dictating to you from outside who you are, what you're worth, what your value is based on X, Y, and or Z. When the reality is that your creator, God, is the only one who reserves the right to define you or to place value on you. Your value is supposed to always come from within and never from without. When I begin, you know, the process of um, assessing certain value to myself based on anything external, I am then in a very unhealthy place emotionally and probably mentally and psychologically, rather, because external factors shift and change too frequently. One has to be based, one has to be grounded, one has to be established from within oneself. So anything that dictates your value, or you allow to dictate value to you or place value upon you that comes from without, or let me put it this way, anything that is outside of your control that you allow to determine your self assessed value, um, is not from God, and it puts you in a very unhealthy place emotionally and mentally. You're never supposed to say, okay, I'm worth
Hello.
this much because this happened or that happened from the outside. No, 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 no. Your value is innate. It is built in from the very beginnings. And if
They
I'm married,
they
if
said
I'm
I
not,
had kids
that
in the
has no
video.
impact on
I
my
had kids on
it
the
has no
video.
impact on my
Mm.
value. It has no impact on my worth. It has no impact upon me as an individual in no shape, form, or fashion. But the world has built into your psyche to believe that you have to be married as a woman to be worth something. So you have your counterparts, unmarried men at 35, 40, and 50, and they don't seem to be struggling with the idea that they aren't married, but yet you as a woman, you're struggling. Why is this? It is because the world has conditioned both of you differently. The world has never raised a man to believe that his value or his worth is attached to his relational or marital status. So he lives his life, he loves God, he succeeds in his career. If he never gets married, it doesn't really have that great of an impact on him mentally in most cases. But for most women, the world conditions you to believe if you're not a mother, if you're not a wife, something's wrong with you. And this begins even as you're little girls. We give you the dolls and we give you the playhouses. And that is subconsciously building within the framework of your uh, thought system that, um, if I don't have a child, if I don't have a house, if I don't have a husband, there's something broken in me. And this is not the case. Because, I think the problem
I
arises,
don't
and I have
know.
just a few points I'm going to deal with, and then I'm going to be done. But I think the problem arises
Or they thought
when
Demi was a kid
we begin
because it
to
stopped with Demi.
um, treat marriage as though it is an accomplishment. And that is the way, and my making that statement, I know just kind of shook a lot of you to your core, because that's how you viewed it all of your life or all of your adult life, and you didn't realize it. You have viewed marriage as an accomplishment. And marriage is really not, it's really not an accomplishment. It is a sacrifice. It is really a call to duty. It is it's not an accomplishment. It's not like, okay, I'm married, so now I'm successful. No, 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 no. Marriage has absolutely nothing to do with accomplishment. Now, being married the right way and staying married, of course, that's an accomplishment. To do it the right way is an accomplishment. But to get married is not an accomplishment. This is why most marriages fail, or at least 50%. Last time I think I heard it was like 50%, maybe even creeping a little higher. Fail. It's because people get married thinking that the marriage or the wedding is an accomplishment, not understanding that the real accomplishment is not in one getting married. The real accomplishment is in one being successfully single. And it is only when one is successfully, happily single and fulfilled as a single individual that one really even qualifies or has what it takes to come into a merger or a marriage and then succeed at marriage. But your getting married is not an accomplishment. There are many of you, as we're going to see in just a minute, who are forfeiting many great years that should be utilized towards the end of true accomplishment as an individual. and you're wasting it. You're wasting your years away. You're wasting decades away that you could be using and funneling or directing your energies towards greater goals. You could be accomplishing great things, and you're missing it all because you're in a perpetual state of depression because of your marital status. And you keep telling people about how old you are. I'm 35 now. I'm 40 now. I'm 50 now. I'm 55. What's wrong with me? Okay, let me jump in. I didn't mean to go on that rant, but there are like four things I want to share with you that play into the psyche of a woman past the age of 35, 40, 50, 55, 60, and I'm not married. Or, I don't have okay, I'm not married, or I don't have a significant other, not a real significant other. Nobody that has the potential of possibly becoming a husband. The number one thing that happens that begins to break your psyche down, break you down emotionally, and begins to create this inner turmoil and this relational crisis. The first thing that comes across your mind is, I'm not beautiful. Okay, let me rephrase that. I am not married because I'm not beautiful, and I'm not beautiful because of my age. Let me say this to you. Your age has absolutely nothing to do with your attractiveness. Your age has absolutely nothing to do with your eligibility. But so many women buy into the idea that older means less attractive or less eligible. And the reality is that age has never truly determined beauty. Age has never truly determined beauty. Beauty comes from essence, from the inner workings of the woman. Beauty comes from the essence of the woman and from the self-care of the woman, the way the woman thinks about herself and the way the woman takes care of herself. Now, the irony is that the toxic thoughts a woman has about age, these lies that society pours into your minds about age. It's amazing how a woman hits 30 years old, which is a baby, and she begins to have this crisis about, I'm 30 years old. I'm 30 years old. I'm getting old. I'm getting old. You're a baby, man. You just really got here. But it's amazing how these toxic thoughts take a woman and it darkens her essence. It darkens her soul. And then her persisting self-loathing breaks her looks. Now, what did I just say? These toxic thoughts about I'm not beautiful because I'm older, it darkens or corrupts the woman's soul, her mind, her emotions. And then as she persists in, this series of lies that the world pours into her mind, her negative thought system breaks her looks. So now she's actually wrinkling when she should be smooth, and because she feels so poorly about herself, her demeanor is aging her. It's not even her number as much as it is her mentality. My point is, because you've bought into this lie that age determines beauty, you have put a shade over the true essence of your beauty, and you've done it by your own hand. You've done it by your own thought system. Now, let me give you a biblical, because I'm a firm believer. I talk to women all the time, obviously. And, with a grown man's mind, I can't speak for every man, but with a grown man's mind, the way I see the beauty of a woman is that the older a woman gets, the wiser a woman gets, the more beautiful she is. So gray hair, silver hair, you know, a
Mm.
wrinkle here or there, it does not impact a woman's beauty in a negative sense. It makes a woman even more beautiful to a grown man. Jesus, I just said something. I felt it too. In Genesis 20, verses 1 through 3, here we see the record of Abraham's wife, Sarah. Now, I want to read this for you, and I want you to pay attention, because some of you, because you've been so conditioned by the world, you're not acknowledging or even recognizing the beauty that you are. The beauty that you are. It's not the beauty that you have, it's the beauty that you are. You are beauty. God made you that way. But the world has made you believe that once you pass a certain number on a calendar, that you're no longer beauty, but you are beauty for the rest of your days. You are beauty. Listen to what the word of God says about Abram's wife, Sarah. In Genesis 21 through 3, and Abraham journeyed from there toward the south country and dwelt between Kadesh and Shur and sojourned in Gerar. And Abraham said of Sarah, his wife, she is my sister. And Abimelech, he said of his wife, she is my sister. And Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent and took or kidnapped Sarah. But God came to Abimelech in a dream by night and said to him, behold, thou art but a dead man, for the woman which thou hast taken, for she is a man's wife. So this king Abimelech wanted to take Abraham's wife Sarah. Now here's the kicker. She's around 90 years old at this point. She's around 90 years old at this point, and there's something about her that this man wanted, so much so that he kidnapped her. If you read, a little earlier, you read where I think Pharaoh, when she was about 65, I think it was, another man wanted to take her. Sarah was a beautiful woman from her youth through her old age. So much so that men desired her. And you're sitting there watching me right now at 40 or 50, 55, 60, and you're telling me that you can't imagine yourself as beautiful? Nobody is beautiful. Listen to this statement very carefully. I must read it. Nobody is beautiful to everybody, because beauty is subjective. However, the ignition of beauty is in the soul of the individual. If you don't own your beauty, you can't sell your beauty. The Holy Spirit just gave me that as I was preparing to talk to you all. Let me read it one more time. The ignition of beauty. What is an ignition in your car? The ignition is what starts it. The ignition of beauty is in the soul of the individual, the mind of the individual. If you don't own it, you can't sell it. In other words, there are a lot of you that are watching me right now, because you don't own your beauty, you can't sell it. Nobody can discern it because you don't own it. You cannot project what you do not own. And for some of you, this has been an issue not only in later years, even in your younger years. You never believed in your own worthwhile or your own beauty or your own value or your own attractiveness. You've always downplayed it. You never bought into it, but you have to own it to sell it. The person that God has put in the earth for you cannot find you if you don't project yourself. And while you're sitting here and you're just beating yourself up over the fact that you're so many decades old, and you're telling yourself all of this negative, toxic stuff, that I'm not beautiful because I'm this age or that age, you're working against yourself. Number two, Second thing that happens in the mind of a woman that comes to a certain age and she's not married or she doesn't have a significant other, um, is that she has to do some introspection to determine what kind of man are you attracted to. What kind of man are you attracted to? Because um, as I'm going to teach in my program relative to the father wound, quite often a woman is attracted to a man that does not possess the capacity to commit. And she wonders, why is it that nobody's ever married me? It's because all of her life she's been attracted to men that did not have the capacity to commit. And in that program, one of the points we bring out is that a woman with a father wound, father who wasn't there and did not nurture her, is quite often attached to or attracted to a man with a father wound. A woman develops this insatiable desire and need for the affirmation of a man. A man with a father wound develops the inability, or he develops the inability to attach and to show emotion, or to consider himself locked down to anything. He learned how not to commit by his father's abandonment. And so you have these two toxic people attracted to one another. And quite often, sometimes, it's not that you've not had men that would have been husbands, it's that you've always been attracted to men that don't possess the character or the capacity to commit. And now it's just dawning on you. See, when you were younger, they were fun to play with because you felt like you had years. But now, since you're at a certain age, you feel like you don't have no more years. So now it's really becoming serious to you. But you have to, first of all, go inside and you have to ask yourself, what kind of man am I? What kind of man am I attracted to? Am I just attracted to men that don't possess the capacity to commit? You need a man that is suitable for you. Because too often grown women are still attracted to little boys. Little boys play games. Sometimes you need to revisit your ideas of what turns you on in a man, and you need to ask yourself why. See, if you're if at 40 years old your criteria for a man is the same as it was when you were 20, it means that you've not evolved.
Exactly.
It means that you've not grown.
Exactly.
If you're still looking for the same stuff in a man at 40 that you was looking for in a man at 20, which
and you
really
got to
at
make
20 you
men
didn't realize
invest
that
in you.
you were looking at
exactly
grown boys.
uppity.
Really, that was the amount. That's what they amounted to, just grown boys. They were men in age or in calendar years, but mentally they were little boys. And some of you at 40 are still looking, you still have the same criteria. Now, because you've not evolved, you're not attracted to the men that would be suitable for you. Okay, here it is. It's like a man. Okay, I just made a statement. I said, because you've not evolved in your own thinking, you're attracted to the men, or you're not attracted to the men or the man that would actually be suitable for you. Because most of you that are watching me right now have had men that would be suitable for you approach you, but you wrote them off because they didn't fit your criteria. But you've not taken the time to think about the fact that your criteria is outdated. It's kind of like, here's an illustration. It's like a man that puts on 200 pounds, and prior to the 200 pounds, he could go and shop and buy Italian suits. Well, any man that knows anything about Italian suits knows that they're cut very, 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 very tight, very, very tight, very, very close. And after you get beyond a certain weight, I don't care how nice you think those suits look, an Italian suit shop is not suitable for you anymore. So it means that you have to make an adjustment. You have to find, you've gained 200 pounds, bro. You have to find a suit shop that is suitable for you. More than likely, you're going to probably have to get a tailor to tailor make your stuff for you. But you can't go back to what you used to wear when you were 25, 200 pounds ago. It is no longer suitable. And there are a lot of you ladies who are still trying on little boys in your grown woman state. And the reality is that, quite frequently you have great men, grown men, who are trying to send signals respectfully, and you can't even receive the signals because you're so used to, the way the little boys approach you. You like the little boys screaming at you across the parking lot. You want, you 40 years old, 50 years old, you still want somebody with cornrows or braids or whatever, they call it, you still looking for, somebody to mama. What's up, mama? You still looking for that. When you need a man that is suitable for you. Sometimes you're without a man, not because there was not a man, it was because you just didn't recognize him. Because your criteria. And the Bible says in Genesis 2:18, and the Lord God said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I'll make him an helpmeet. And when you look at that, it literally translates as one that is suitable. Just because you're attracted to a person does not mean that they are suitable. Now, the greatest aspects of suitability are a few things: shared spiritual commitments, shared financial philosophies, common aspirations, and mutual respect. Now, all of that stuff I just rambled off there, has absolutely nothing to do with your looks and of course, I'm not suggesting to you that you should connect yourself to somebody that you can't stand to look at. But I am saying that while you put, a man's looks at the top of the ladder, it really needs to be down, in other words, there are a lot of things that need to come before looks. You know why I say that? Looks don't last. I can show you a picture of my wife and I when we first got married. We do not look the same. People say, oh, y'all look the same. No, we don't look the same. We don't look the same. Neither one of us look the same. Looks dissipate. If there were not something more to my wife than her looks, if there were not something more to me than whatever looks I had, then who knows? Our marriage probably would not have made it, or certainly would not be a happy marriage, because there are things that have to come before looks. So number two, you have to know that you need a man that is suitable for you. The men that you're running behind, the men that you desire, are quite often not even men. Why? Why do you need to be married? I just mentioned some things, and that many of you have not even thought about. In most cases, people want to be married. Women want to be married because they need it. And see, if you need to be married, you don't need to be married. That's a t-shirt right there. If you need to be married, you don't need to be married. If you need to be married, it means that you will be needy, which means that you're going to be a burden on somebody. If you need to be married, you don't need to be married.
Preach it.
Some people desire marriage so strongly because it's the only thing that they feel will give them some sense of self-esteem. Self-esteem does not come from anywhere else but self. From within oneself, and ain't but two inside of self, and that will be you and God. Marriage is not going to give you self-esteem. Some people want to be married so badly because they need an identity. They feel like a nobody. So they feel like marrying somebody, getting somebody's name is going to give them an identity. Sometimes it does give you an identity. Statistic, abused, it does give you an identity. in some cases. Now, the people who attract mates generally don't feel like they need one, and I just kind of emphasize that. There's something about self-love that is extremely attractive to others who love themselves. And see, if you're going to attract a husband is a man that is secure in himself, loves himself enough to love his wife. A wife is a woman who is secure within herself, loves herself enough to love her husband. You can't bring two hands to create something greater than you could have ever been as individuals. Marriage is a merger. It is not a desperate plea for a half of an individual to join to another half of an individual, and both of you thinking that you're going to complete the other. God, your completion comes from God and from within yourself. And if you're getting married for anything, any reason other than you want to share what God has blessed you with in life with someone else, and you want to do life with someone honestly and sincerely, you're getting married for the wrong reason.
Yep.
So now many times women want to be married because they need an identity or think they need an identity or to prove their worth. A lot of women marry men they're not even in love with, just to fulfill certain personal voids. And number 4, I've gotten in enough trouble. Don't y'all send me a lot of crazy stuff. Number 4, it's just the truth. And finally, this is what you got to come clear with in your mind. You know, 35, 40, 50, 55, 60, 65, and you're struggling with this thing. I want to be married. I don't have a man. And that's all you're obsessed with. You need to hear this. Number 4, and finally, you need to stop obsessing over this, and you need to focus on your legacy. In other words, what is your life going to amount to?
Exactly.
When you're done?
What have you done in this world? Exactly.
What is your life going to be remembered for?
Exactly.
Your legacy generally has nothing to do with anyone else. Your legacy is what you will leave in the earth when you're done. Now, what will that be? What will you leave in the earth? What will you have uniquely accomplished or done that will live on beyond you? What will your legacy be? You know, as a pastor, I've done hundreds and hundreds of funerals. And at funerals, they read
obituary.
They basically read the obituary or the life story of the individual. And they tell you, you know, whatever the individual accomplished, 3/4, if not 90% of the obituary is about the individual accomplishments of the individual, of the individual person. And maybe at the end, sometimes not, maybe at the end they'll mention, and he or and she was married to, and they had X amount of children, and they had X amount of grandchildren. But most of what is mentioned in the obituary is what the person did as an individual. Obituaries don't usually read Lisa and Robert, or Robert and Lisa did X, Y, Z, and Robert and Lisa. No. Obituaries speak of what you did as an individual. And here's the kicker. Here's a question. Could you be at this stage in your life so consumed with a relationship that you're actually wasting your life?
Whoa. Whoop.
Thank you. Almost didn't buy them. I thought they looked too hip for an old man like me. I had a text that was sent to me today relative to the term now is down low brothers. If you don't think that men are actors, just get on the internet, get on just Google download brothers and see how many, and not just brothers as in black, but men in general. See how many men who are really homosexual are deceiving women to believe that they're heterosexual. Or some would say they're bisexual. You don't think that, men are actors. Just check out the women that have given their lives and their hearts to men for decades, only to discover later that he has a family, on the other side of town. Men are actors. And what
Hey,
I teach my
Tekka.
daughters is you never take a man at his first word. You're not going to be a pessimist, but you're not going to be naive either. You're going to allow circumstances in the brother's character to prove who he says he is absolutely or actually true. You have to understand this. Now, some fake it. When you think about men are actors. Some brothers are faking it to cover inferiority. Brother act like he's this because he's really trying to disguise his inferior nature. Others are attempting to distract you from his flaws. But then there's another kind of man that assumes a false identity strictly to deceive you. He's not trying to cover up anything. He's not trying to impress you. He's strictly trying to deceive you. And I'm talking to you tonight as a father would to his daughters. So, I'm putting it on the table like I would with Venitra, Angel, or Rachel. There's this brother who is simply out there to deceive you so as to compromise your defenses. The first few faces a woman sees of a man, now listen to this carefully. Listen to this very carefully. The first few faces a woman sees of this kind of man are often not genuine. Most men, not all, but most men. The first few faces you see of most brothers is not genuine. Their characteristics he has detected this type of woman would be attracted to. He has sized you up before you even knew you were being sized up, and now he knows what would appeal to you. So he takes on the characteristics of the kind of guy he knows you would like. Now, how does he know? How does he know what kind of guy you would like?
Yes,
Well,
the narcissist.
if you go and look on some of y'all's Facebook thing right now, you got, I'm Brenda from Brooklyn looking for a Christian man that doesn't mind raising two children. You're putting out too much information. You're giving away too much information too soon. You put everything out on social media. You get on social media, you get in your feelings, and you go
Hey,
to
back
spilling
to the basics.
everything
Hey,
you're
love.
feeling, everything you're going through. And the brother, you checking in when you go to church. He knows what church you go to. He know where your job is. So he slides on into your church and he slips next to you. He knows what your children look like, so he befriends them. And then you thinking God has sent this man when this man been hunting. You got to stop putting your feelings on social media, because you're giving these guys information that they can come back and use on you.
Yep,
I don't know if I'm making sense to y'all.
made sense.
But the first few faces are not genuine. Look what the Bible says in Proverbs 20:6. Most men will proclaim his own goodness, but a faithful man who can find? Everybody can talk and impress you that I'm this. I can make you believe I'm the greatest man in the world. I talk about my own experience as being the pastor's son. I was the oldest son, namesake of one of the most prominent, popular pastors in the city of New Orleans. And when I came up, man, I would use that line. I'm Pastor Blake's son. Yes, I'm Robert Charles Blake's Jr. And man, I would play like I was so nice. And mothers would even give me their daughters' phone numbers. Call her at this time. It's all right. They thought I was, a good Christian boy. I'm walking around with the Bible. I'm talking all polite. I'm the pastor's son. Man, they didn't know that I was a wolf. I was a wolf. I was acting. And the thing about it, this is in the nature of a man's nature. The fallen nature of a man gives him this capacity without him necessarily being trained in it. You have to be wise enough as a woman not to shift to your emotions too fast. You have to stay in your head and your spirit and discern this brother. Make certain that this man really is what he is proclaiming to be. Because every man can proclaim I'm this or that, but who can really find a faithful man? Every man you had, probably, you thought he was going to be faithful. And the sad thing is that you're still entertaining the same kind of men. All right, watch this. A wise woman should expect that her first conversation with a man will be filled with half-truths and in many cases, outright lies. Now, let me tell you now, nobody can lie like a man that want a woman. When a man, when those hormones get to raging in that man, and he want that woman, you talk about can lie and can act. Man, you gotta, as a wise woman, you have to expect that when you first have a conversation with a man initially, that half of that conversation at least is laced with nothing but lies. Look what the Bible says in Matthew 7:15 and 16. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. You shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Well, the principle is this. You can't take people at face value. You don't take preachers at face value. You don't go run up and join no church because somebody made you shout Sunday. Take time to sit and observe this man's character. Watch this man's family. See how his wife respond to him. Well, likewise in your relationships, you don't just take nobody into your heart and into your life because they impressed you initially.
Yep.
The Bible says, look for their fruit. You're going to know them by their fruit, not their conversation, but their fruit. Watch this. I got a tree behind me. Now that tree with them green leaves on it, now of course that's silk. But if it were live, that tree could tell me I'm a lemon tree or I'm an apple tree. I don't know if that's a lemon tree until I see the fruit. I'm not going to take that tree's word that it's a lemon tree. I'm going to tag you a lemon tree when I see your fruit. Why is it that you are declaring a man to be worthy of you before you see his fruit? Don't trust the leaves, wait on the fruit. And fruit requires time to develop. Now watch this. This means some of y'all got to slow down with this rushing into these relationships. You got to slow down with rushing into these relationships. You don't give the thing time for the Lord to pull the cover off of this man. And you're all in your emotions and everything. You're not even using your intellect. The man just telling you all kinds of, he's telling you one thing today, another thing tomorrow, another thing the next day, and you're not even catching it because you so in your emotions. You want a man so bad. Fruit requires time to develop. You don't know a man in a week. You don't know a man in a month. It takes time. Watch his consistency. See if what he's saying is lining up with what he's doing. Never define a man until you've tested his character. And I say it all the time. The greatest test of a man's character is telling me there will be no sex. You can go out and you can go out to Walmart tonight and you can be approached by 10 different men. If you tell them, now listen, there will be no sex. At least 9 of them not going to call you tomorrow. More than likely 10 of them not going to call you. Woo! You got to test his character. You know, I just responded to an email. You know, you got a man that you think might be the one. Test his character. Just act like you need him to go out of his way for you. See if he's playing games or not. See if he's just acting. Act like you need a ride. You need them to drive from across town to pick you up to bring you to work. Then you need them to bring you back home after you get off. He been talking all of this talk. Now see if he's ready to step up to the plate.
Yep.
See, you got to test his character. You can't let him just tell you all of that stuff and never have an opportunity to prove it.
Bam. Bam. Ta-dang.
Look what the Bible says in 1 Timothy. Watch this. 1 Timothy 3, 1-7. This know also that in the last days, perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection. Without natural affection. Truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying the power thereof. Now, this should let you know that just because you go to church don't mean that you can trust those brothers around the church. Having a form of godliness but denying the power thereof, from such turn away. Look what verse 6 says. For of this sort, this kind of man here, with all this stuff that I just got to reading, for of this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women, laden with sins, led away by or with divers lusts, ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. He says this kind of guy that's full of all of this pollution is looking for a silly woman. He wants to creep into her house and he wants to lead her astray because she's laden with sins. Sometimes they're the sins that were committed against you that have caused you to drop your standard and your self-perspective. And sometimes they're the sins that you're involved in personally. And now you have all of this lust raging in you, and he knows how to turn the key. And what he does is he leads you astray. And then it's late in life that you wake up and you realize that you've been had, you've been took, you've been hoodwinked, you've been bamboozled, you've been run amok. Because no man in your life ever sat you down to tell you this is what's going on with you. Your mama tried to tell you, but you didn't want to listen to your mama. You needed a daddy to tell you that these boys are making a fool of you. These boys are making a fool of you. They're running game on you. They're just acting. They're not real. They're not real. See, I can act like a fighter. I can act like a fighter. I can act like a fighter. Well, put me in the ring with Mike Tyson. Let me prove it. I can act like a football player, but put me on the field with the Saints. And let that lion come at me. See how fast I run off there like a woman screaming. And I am running off the field like a woman screaming. I promise you I am.
Hey, Miss Leo.
You got to learn. Now listen, if you don't take nothing else from what I'm saying to you tonight, you must learn to make men prove that they are who they say they are. Don't let a man just shoot you a whole lot of stuff, Make him prove it. Develop a series of questions. That when a man go to talking that stuff, develop a series of questions that will make him step to the plate to actually prove. Not just talk, but prove. Now let me give you this and I'm out. Common characters. These are some characters that I've listed in the book. Let me see. Maybe I'll just read it from the book. Let me see. All right. These are some common characters that, what does that say? Common characters. These are some common characters that I came up with that I see quite frequently that guys take on to deceive women. Number one is the church guy. Obviously, this is a person who hangs around church and manipulates the emotions of women who are praying for a biblical husband. This guy will be in the sanctuary every Sunday and even go to Bible study. He aims to paint a portrait of piety and godliness. The church guy plays on her desire for a Christian man. He will be the perfect spiritual mate, just long enough to get the sister to become vulnerable to his smooth religious talk. He will accompany her to revival meeting and then ask to have a word of prayer in her house or her apartment. Perhaps that prayer will lead to discussions about how God showed him that she is to be his wife. Before you know it, she is crying tears of joy because she just prayed for God to show her a sign. She leaps up to hug him, and he hugs her back. The next thing you know, the sun is coming up, and the prayers have turned into repentance. The church guy. How many women in church have been deceived by men that came across like they love God? They you the one, and then no soon, that's the book right there, the father-daughter talk. No soon as this man compromises your defenses and gets you into a sexual position, he leaves church, changes churches. The second character that I list in the book is the baller. This is the fellow who usually drives a nice car and brags about how much money he makes. His specialty is fancy restaurants and maybe gifts if he desires her bad enough. He plays the role to convince the gullible young woman that he will be a great catch that can provide the best things in life.
Mm-hmm.
The baller may even find the money to pay a few of her bills. Once he rescues the young woman from some financial hardship or spoils her, he moves in for the payoff.
Okay.
The baller preys on beautiful women who may be struggling financially. That's why I tell you in the book, you got to learn to make your own money, because too many of you all are compromised because you've not focused on education, you've not focused on careers, you've not developed your own business, and now you're in a position where you need these men for money. The conversation with the baller may go something like this. Let me take you away from all of this pressure and stress.
Mm-hmm.
You deserve the best. He says, I want to treat you like a queen. You are the woman I've been praying and hoping for. He will continue to pour it on until she has some emotional response to his antics. He will use his money to trap the woman into a web of obligation, which will lead to her giving in to his sexual advances. This type of man buys women because he does not plan on settling down with any of them. When he finds someone more appealing or interesting, he and his wallet fades off of the scene into the sunset. The passage in Timothy was 2 Timothy 3, 1 through 7. 2 Timothy 3, 1 through 7. And then finally, this is the most dangerous one of them all. Captain Kidd. I call him Captain Kidd. Let me see. Can y'all see that?
Mm-hmm.
Captain Kidd. This individual observes the obvious fact that a woman has children. He likes what he sees, so he uses the kids as a fast track to the bedroom. He targets grocery stores, nursery schools, and any other venue where single moms may frequent. He is probably the lowest of them all. He'll use small dogs in the park or other people's babies to cast the impression that he is nurturing and caring. Captain Kidd takes an interest in how beautiful, how handsome or smart your child is. He befriends the boy or the girl, usually having a lollipop or something, or some type of candy ready to hand them. Once he wins the child's heart and behaves like the ideal surrogate father, for a while, this obliterates the young mother's senses of judgment. She is so enamored by how he affects her child, she wants to believe it is for real. Obviously, this guy has learned the fastest lane to the bedroom. Nothing moves a woman like people who love her kids, especially when it is a man and their own father doesn't even react this way. She gives him any and everything he asks for because she does not want him to leave her kid's life. Then one day, out of the blue, he finds a reason to break it off. Of all of the characters I've described, this guy is the most dangerous because he doesn't only break your heart, he will also hurt your children emotionally. He will do all the right things, and once he gets what he wants, will bail with no regard for how the children feel about losing a father figure. So the point is that, here's the point. The point is that you cannot go into the world and believe that a man is what he appears to be. Men are natural actors. Men are natural actors. And when a man how is it that she can be taken in by what amounts to a diabolical individual? It's because this person knows how to make himself attractive. And you can find yourself in situations where, if you're not functioning with some fundamental principles in terms of relationships and how to move in and out of relationships, you can find yourself in a situation where you're constantly choosing men that are hurtful and men that leave you broken and damaged. And one of the greatest tricks in the book, when you start talking about game, one of the greatest tricks in the book is when a man becomes everything you imagined. It's when he plays the nice guy role to the T, and you make your move too soon, and you let down your guard, and you open up your heart, and then you discover that your Little Red Riding Hood dealing with grandma, or you think you're dealing with grandma. Thank you very much. But you really were dealing with a wolf. It's when the man plays the nice guy, and the world teaches the woman that if a guy is nice, he's absolutely safe. Just because a man is nice does not necessarily mean that he's safe. In fact, about it, I think the more appealing a man is up front, the more cautious a woman should be. Thank you so much.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. The more cautious a woman should be. Because nice guys, the nice guy thing can be an act. A man can learn how to play the nice guy for a certain span of time until he gets what he wants, and then his true colors will show. So now let me get into this tonight. Some biblical context. If you look in 2 Corinthians 11 and 14, it says, "And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light." Satan himself, excuse me for moving that camera, can transform himself into an angel of light. So he can appear to be the exact opposite of what he actually is. And if you've watched any of my teachings at all relative to narcissists, I tell you, I personally believe that Satan, Lucifer, is the father of narcissist. I believe that. I believe from the biblical document and from what, what I have at my disposal, Satan is the father of narcissists. So when you see narcissists running around, they're spawns of Satan. You have narcissists from one extreme to another. Some narcissists are just, um, self worshippers and they just brag on themselves. But then you have some that are actually toxic and have intention of injuring others. When you get to that level, I believe you're looking at people that are the product of Satan. But now let me show you something here. Number one, you'll have a guy that is most polite.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am. Opening
Uh-huh.
doors, pulling out chairs,
Mm-hmm.
just extremely polite. But
I'll be
now
watching them like crazy.
his politeness many times is designed to throw you off,
Nope.
to believe that because he's a nice guy, he's a good guy. But a lot of times, this is a strategy to get you to lower your standard,
Nope,
or to
honey. I
lower your
test the
guard,
fruit.
not your standard,
I taste the
but to
fruit,
lower
baby.
your guard. He'll be a very nice guy. Number one, he's listened to your conversation and he's heard you talk about how your former or your ex was so disrespectful and brutish and
Boss lady, Miss Keefus. Miss Keefus. I'm going to so fire her. I was talking to this guy, and he was saying, "Oh, all the nice guys finish last." And I don't know what I'm talking about when I say why women choose Pookie and Ray Ray over nice guys. And they didn't understand what I was saying. But he's saying it exactly what I was saying. But when people thinking it's because I'm a female, no, you used to Pookie and Ray Ray. You know what Pookie and Ray Ray gonna do. But these nice guys, you don't know. You know what they say? Well, I'd rather take my chances with the nice guy, the nice working guy, quote, than a Pookie and Ray Ray. I said Pookie and Ray Ray could be anybody. Pookie and Ray Ray ain't got nothing to do with the money that's in your pockets. Pookie Ray Ray is a no good man. That's what that is, a no good man. At least you know, hey, this man ain't no good. I know he ain't coming home tonight. I know he gonna make more babies. I may gotta have a couple of fights over this guy, but I'm familiar with this. We don't know what the heck we getting out that nice guy. We don't know what the heck happened to him. We don't know if he's traumatized. We don't know if he's gonna make everybody pay for him being traumatized when he was young. See, I know what I be saying. And I hate when people come on here and they test me what I'm saying. When I just speak upon life. I speak upon life, period. I don't statistics and I don't listen. I don't want to hear none of that. I'm trying to tell you about real life in real time. I don't know about real timing in my past. I wasn't born. I don't know about real timing in my future. I ain't get there yet. But real time right now, I could speak upon it. I keep trying. Women always, I'm like, no, it's not because they're tall, they dark, and they handsome, and they bad boys. We just know what the heck they about. There's some questions you can ask us, honey. You don't even got to ask a question. One of the best ways to find out if you're not, say the word no. Get used to saying the word no. I ain't got to ask no question. I just got to say the word no. At some point in time, after he put that false face on or whatever, hey, Miss Rod, They got me. I had a young kid in my video. I ain't seen no kid in my damn video. They shut me down. Yeah, but get used to saying the word. I tell you, I can't tell you enough. I'm talking about the other live I was on. I had kids on the page. I keep telling y'all, get used to saying the word no. Practice it. No, 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 no. Wake up saying no. Go to bed saying no. Get used to saying that word no. Just not to me. just not to me. Oh no, when they make a demand or something, baby, that's why I said in the beginning the word no doesn't bother them. That's why I said practice saying no. You got to practice it. Because once that mask come off, that no is going to be a whole different creature. See, you could lie about your characters. You could be with a man for years and they mask don't fall off. But when they think they got you and you say the word no, watch his whole face transform. Watch he throw up everything he have done for you. When he ready to transform that or transform his ass real quick. No. What do you mean no? Didn't I take you to your grandma's house? Didn't I sit with you, blah, blah, blah? Then you needed me, blah. Now you telling me no? People, if people don't know how to accept the word no, I don't care who it is. I'm not talking about like go-getters and stuff like that who don't take no for an answer. That's different. I'm talking about when it comes down to your personal boundaries. When it comes down to your personal boundaries or something that you really don't want to do, just no. Two things. Like that man said, say the word no, and you got to look at the fruit. You look at that tree. You got to see what fruit is coming from that damn tree. You got to see. I don't know about that. These days, Miss Lee, I smell them out real quick. I smell them out. No. 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 Do you do this? No. Want to go here? No. I am the no queen. No. 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 Yeah, you got to do that, uppity. Snip them. When they come across, when they step over your personal boundaries, you got to go. And I want to rewind that part. A tense event
is designed to throw you off. Believe that because he's a nice guy, he's a good guy. But a lot of times this is a strategy to get you to lower your standard, or to lower your guard, not your standard, but to lower your guard. He'll be a very nice guy. Number one, he's listened to your conversation and he's heard you talk about how your former or your ex was so disrespectful and brutish, and he heard you talk about how your ex wouldn't open doors and your ex, was this and that. And so now he takes on this persona of being everything you ever imagined, and he becomes extremely polite. Now, there are some people on here tonight that can testify to what I'm getting ready to say. Thank you very much. That same very polite guy, when he has you where he wants you, when he gets you into a vulnerable or compromised position, that same nice guy turns into a snake at the blinking of an eye.
Blank.
Because it was always an act.
Yep.
That same polite guy. Listen to what the Bible says in Genesis 3:1, again speaking of Satan. says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, yea, hath God said, but notice it says he was more subtle than any beast of the field. He was smooth. He was polite. He had manners. He knew how to move in.
Yep.
He knew how to talk. He had the right tone. But he was what? Lucifer. He was Satan. He was the devil. Now, I'm going to show you a few.
James, he's talking about people. You're right. It is about females and males, but he's talking about the women. But of course, it goes for females too. Narcissism goes, it's female narcissists and there are male narcissists. And we're not talking about just a regular fake nice guy. We're talking about them fake nice guys who come into your life to destroy you. Pregnancy, but he know that made me move quicker to get away. Woo.
Profiles that women fall for, and then we're going to conclude this with just some ideas that I have on how a woman can begin to arm herself with wisdom. If y'all don't mind, I'd like y'all get my likes up.
Oh yeah, make sure y'all hit that like.
Make sure y'all hit that like with wisdom.
Hit that like.
Moving in and out of relationships, moving forward, that she's not made susceptible to this kind of debauchery. If you look in 2 Peter 2:3, it says, and through covetousness shall they with feigned words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not. But notice it says, with their words, they'll make merchandise of you. A man can move into your life, and see, this is prevalent. You know, I'm a pastor, so I come from the church context, and this is prevalent in the church. Guys move in and they talk all of that religious talk, all of that Bible talk, all of that I love Jesus stuff. And, you know, R.C. Blakes is my pastor. He's my spiritual father. And women don't check this stuff out. And then it's after this guy's come in and plundered and pillaged and all of this other stuff. And then you want to have a meeting with me or send me an email talking about brother so-and-so and so-and-so told me that he was your right-hand man. And I don't even know this guy. But he came in polite and, you know, like he loved Jesus, and he knows that you have a great respect for me. Thank you so much. And he slides in with these smooth words. And because you've been so accustomed to dealing with bad boys that are harsh and brutish, you say, okay, I'm just going to flip the script and I'm going to get, for guys really, really nice to me, he has to be the one. No, sometimes nice guys are the biggest actors. The reality is the typical brutish type guy, he's not even acting. He's just what you're attracted to.
Thank you.
He's being himself.
Thank you.
You know, he's not really hiding much.
Thank you.
It's that guy that slides in and he talks all of this smooth talk. Now, let me just add this here while I'm here and thinking about it. You notice there are a lot of men, which I don't have a problem with. I think it's a great thing when men become advocates for their women. But I would advise you, not in all cases, somebody write, not in all cases. I would advise you, if a man is on any kind of platform talking to the issues of women and he's saying all of the right things,
oh no,
be very careful with that man if he does not have an obvious relationship with his wife. Or if he does not, if he says he has a wife and, you know, he doesn't really honor her, or you don't know if he married or not, and he's saying all of this right stuff, and
That's
you
right.
got to be careful with that,
Hello.
because
Hello.
one of the things that men are skilled at is finding the tune that moves a woman's heart. And a man knows, a player knows, if I say all of the right stuff, she'll open her heart to me and she'll trust. You have to be very careful with that, because sometimes a guy is polite and he's saying all of the right things the right way, and he's really just setting you up. Another guy that that women are just, it's like you just lose your complete mind.
Hey, I know.
It's like your
Tekka.
brain just gets fried.
Tika.
It's like your spirit that's so connected to God gets disconnected when you see a very handsome guy, a physically attractive guy. One of the big mistakes we make in life on both sides, men and women, watch this, listen to this very carefully. This is going to help you to reconfigure some of your thought patterns. One of the big mistakes we make in life, men and women, is to look at a very attractive person.
Say that again.
And to conclude that their physical attributes are the reflection of their inner qualities. So you look at somebody on television, or you look at somebody on social media, or you look at somebody from across the room that you never really got close to, don't really know, but they're very attractive. And you say a person that, you know, that looks that good has to be equally as beautiful on the inside. Not in a lot of cases.
He's talking
Because
about narcissists.
are often
Goodness gracious,
good-looking
King James,
people,
you're not paying attention.
And sometimes they have natural attributes.
He's talking about narcissistic men. You're not paying attention, James. Guys use different techniques. Older, he might sell. No, he's not talking about a no good man. He's talking about a narcissistic man. Please, just listen to the just listen. Now, he's trying to tell you the red flags. And if it's a man, the same rule applies. If you're a man, and you got to watch these things with women also.
Attributes, and other times they have enhanced profiles. They know how to dress. They know how to groom themselves. They know what kind of fragrances to wear. You know, their presentation is so attractive that they look good. You know, and then you have those that just have it, and they've been adored, and they've been, you know, revered all of their lives, until sometimes, not in all cases, because I know some very, very attractive people who are the most humble and well-balanced people in the world. But in some cases, you have people who are that attractive. They've been so esteemed all of their lives, they begin to believe the hype, and they begin to sing their own praises, and this narcissistic seed begins to be fertilized in them. And sometimes you're blinded by the beauty, or you're blinded by the handsomeness. You know, Lisa and I were in the park walking 2 days ago, and there's this young guy. I mean, he looked to be probably,
you could say that again. Cancer men are
maybe
banned.
early 30s. This guy's head,
you can say that
6'4",
again.
big, you know, muscles, not swole up, but just cut up. You know, small waist.
You can say that again.
Head full of
again
hair,
and again and again.
He just running. and I said, I forget exactly what I said to Lisa, but it was something along the lines of, you know, most women, that's the standard. He got to be 6'4". He got to have a 26-inch waist. He got to have a 46-inch chest. He got to have a head full of hair. And you're going for all of that, which is cool if that's what you want, if that's what you think you need. But you've not addressed the internals of the man. And in a lot of cases, that is a well-built, well-structured demonic package. And then you look over a guy that may be 5'10", 5'9", 5'11", maybe not as athletically built, but not hard on the eyes at the same time, got his money right, loves God, is going to respect you and honor you. You look over that guy because your standard, the world has trained you that your standard is this Adonis type. And without even thinking, when somebody asks you about your type, you start with the physical. And not understanding that many times the physical attributes of a person's physical attractiveness is really just a smokescreen for the enemy to enter into your life and to destroy things. Whereas if you stop and you just mature and see, this is true. Listen to me now. This is true of young women from their late teens and their 20s, all the way to women that are in their 60s. There's a certain look you want, and I'm not hating on you for that. But all I'm saying is, while you're focused on the external, you may be entertaining demonic forces unawares while you're drunk on attractiveness. Because if you look in Ezekiel 28:12, it says, "Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyrus and say unto him," and that reference to the king of Tyrus is really a reference to Lucifer or Satan or the devil, "and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord God, thou sealest up the sum, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty." What is my point? Lucifer, according to the Bible, is very attractive. I'm not saying attractive people are of the devil now. Don't get me wrong. But I'm saying when we lock in on the physical attributes of a person, the devil can slip into our lives and we not even realize. Now, there's this term that the young people have recently taught me. I'm learning from the young people. It's amazing when you're an older guy and you can learn from the young people. It's this term hypergamy or hypergamy, however you all choose to say it. And it's this concept of a woman choosing a man in a lot of cases visually based on his physical attributes, because she wants to produce or reproduce with a man that's of a certain physical type, a certain look. She wants her children to look a certain way, so she seeks a man. Well, this is where you run into issues where you have children you make beautiful children with a good-looking man that is a horrible father and could possibly be a horrible father and not much of a husband, because you made your choices based on external things, and you ushered a narcissist into your life willingly, or should I say ignorantly. Okay, another way that this kind of man can enter into your life as a woman, we said number one, just politeness. You call the politeness, meaning that you say that means he's a good guy, or physical attractiveness. Okay, watch this. The third one, perception of wealth. See, when you are a woman that, now I got to be careful with how I say these things, but when you're a woman that's only concerned about the dollar, a man can excite you and get you excited and fool you and make you think that he has what he does not have. And you so busy running behind the dollar, you're ignoring all of these red flags that you're dealing with a demonic spirit, because this guy has made you believe that because he has a suit, Because he has a suit and you look, he showed you the label. Number one, a man that really is a man of means, he's not walking around showing broadcasting labels. Anytime you see a man walking around, yeah, well, this is Gucci. Well, he's not a man of means. A man of means does not walk around broadcasting labels. But why do they do this? They know that there are gullible women who are looking for a man making a certain amount of money, and all I have to do is just act like I got it, borrow my friend's car, or it may be his car. But just because a man drives a nice car doesn't mean that he's a man of means. He may just be a fool that's spending all his money on a car note. But, just creating the perception of wealth for a woman that feels like she has to have a man making a certain amount of money. Let me just add something to that conversation while I'm there. Now, y'all know my position. I will never tell you that you should go out here and throw yourself in the arms of a man that is not concerned about making money. I just don't believe a woman should subject herself or her children to being submitted to a man that has no concern for making money. At the same time, I don't believe you need to be going out here, teetering on gold digger, running behind a man because you think he got X amount of dollars. Because here's the reality, people all over, Instagram and Facebook, they take pictures of Lisa and I and say relationship goals. And that's flattering. But the reality is this. When Lisa and I got together, I wasn't balling. She was making more money than me. But she saw my work ethic. She knew my vision and where I was going. And she got into my life and she helped me to manifest the stuff that was always in me. So don't always, the thing about wealth, that's nice, but don't always make that a deal breaker. Now, if a man don't want a job and he's just lying around, well, there's not even a discussion now. Look what the Bible says in Luke 12:15. And he said unto them, take heed and beware of covetousness, for a man's life consisteth not in the abundance of the things which he possesseth. You can't judge what kind of man he is because of the stuff he got, the stuff he running around with, or projecting he has. Even if he's a millionaire, say he's a millionaire. Do you all know they got millionaire men that will get you locked up and marry you and bring you into the house and beat the life out of you for the rest of your life, separate you from your family and your friends, and technically make a slave out of you, all because you ran behind the perceptions of wealth?
Yep.
Didn't know that there was a demonic narcissist hiding behind all of these so-called resources. Come on now. I'm trying to help you all.
High value man, huh?
And then number 4, then we'll get into strategies to, save yourself from some of this. The perception of superior knowledge. These are some of the ways men who have these toxic, demonic, narcissistic spirits slide into a woman's life. Perception of wealth, physically attractive, and just, really nice, a polite guy. But then there's the guy that has this perception of superior knowledge. They know everything. They know everything.
I had that one.
Everything you say you want to do, they know something about it. They know just enough to generate a conversation. And they create this idea that somehow they are, superior in knowledge, and they can actually sell you on it, because a woman very well may be attracted to a man that has a certain, dimension of knowledge.
I bought that up.
But you have to stop sometimes and think about what people are actually saying to you. And don't just be so carried away over the presentation that you're not actually opening this thing up to see the true content. A lot of these guys are blowing smoke, and all you need to do to cut through The stuff is to ask 2 or 3 questions. Blah, blah, and then they're going to change the subject. They subjugate you as a superior intellect. Oh, you don't know. You don't know. Let me help you. Let me teach you. Let me teach you. And you buy into their self-proclaimed brilliance, and then they position you as an underling.
Thank you. I brought that up. They told me I was wrong.
You got the bobblehead now. You just kind of shaking your head. You shaking your head to stuff that you know don't even make sense, but they've got
somebody go call Alien Blood. Tell him he missing class.
Because they got you believing that they are so brilliant. and it's something about, watch this, always be careful with a man that talks so much and so fast, you can't gather your thoughts. It's like they use these words and they just keep on talking. It's like you cannot figure out where you actually stand on what's being said, because so many things are coming to you at one time. And then they're almost like a slick used car salesman. They want to slide you into committing to something before you even had a chance to think about it. And there you find yourself letting, a demonic, toxic, possibly dangerous, narcissistic spirit into your life, not realizing what you've done.
He's absolutely. Watch this.
Here's some things that I would suggest to you.
What?
In terms of relationships, moving in and out of relationships as a woman. Number one, let me say this to you. Take your time. Take your time. Take your time. It's going to take time to prove if a man is what he appears to be or not.
Yeah.
You see, toxic men want to rush you. And then there's some that are so slick, they'll slow it down and they won't rush you. They'll act like, okay, we're going to move at your pace. But the reality is they're setting you up. You have to take your time. Do not be so quick to avail yourself to a man because he looks good or he's saying the right stuff. Hold on to your value.
Man.
Don't rush. Don't rush. I don't care how old you are. Oh, I'm on the clock. And I understand I'm not a woman, you know what I mean? I don't have a biological clock that says I can, I can't have a child after such and such a time and all of that. I don't relate to that because I am a man. But I do understand how many women are rushing into relationships with demons because you want to have a child so bad, and now you can't even enjoy the child's life because you're so busy trying to protect the child from the demon that you allowed to father the child.
Oh, wow.
So you have to ask yourself, you may be in this position where you get a certain age and you want to have a child, but is it worth bringing a child into the world with somebody that has not been proven? Should you rush into a relationship because somebody says at a certain age, you over the hill, you hit the wall or whatever, man, that's a lot of BS. You have to make certain that you make wise relational decisions. Why is that important? Why is that important, R.C. Blakes? That's important because the average man is much stronger than the average woman. Yeah. A man can be half a woman's size and twice as strong. And you just don't know how many women are out here who have rushed into these situations and did not prove these men and then entered into physically abusive situations that they're scared to even leave. So I say to you, when you're dealing with a man, moving in and out of relationships with men, take your time. A toxic man gets uncomfortable at a slow pace. A healthy man, a man that has the right intentions, will always be comfortable with, come on now, take your time. You ain't got to be rushing trying to figure out, how many months should it be before I sleep with somebody? Well, I mean, y'all already know my position on that. Now, I ain't gonna be hypocritical because when I was out there doing my stuff, I wasn't I wasn't following the rules, but just because I wasn't following them don't mean the rules were wrong. You need to sit your happy self down. You don't need to be crawling up in the bed with nobody that you're not married to. You don't need to just keep on adding to your body count because you think that crawling in the bed is gonna make a man love you or make a man stay with you. If that were the case, the last however many you had would have stayed with you as much as you crawl in the bed with them. You need to slow this thing down, babe. Slow yourself down. Slow it down. Slow it down. If you slow it down, you're gonna save yourself a whole lot of. And then watch this. Another thing you gotta implement. Number one, the principle of time. Just take your time. Don't let nobody rush you. Take your time. Number two, talking. Now watch this. Don't when you're engaging a guy, don't let a dude just run off at his mouth and talk about what he want to talk about. And no. Just all that running game on you. No. Baby, I tell you what, I got a life plan for you, and I got a life plan for you, and I got a life plan for you, and I'm gonna do something for you. Your mama gonna sing at the wedding. All that kind of No. Okay, that's nice. I appreciate that. Mama gonna sing at the wedding. You gonna do something for me. I got you. But now, what's your vision? What'd you say? What's your vision? No. What's your vision? Okay. Do you want? Do you plan on getting married? Do you want to be married? See, because a lot of y'all going all this distance with a man, you've never even had a conversation with him about marriage or not. Why would you crawl up in a bed with a man that you haven't had a conversation with him about if he want to be married?
Duh.
And then when you come out of the situation, the man tells you, I ain't never told you I was going to marry you. Then when you think about it, you ain't never asked the man. You never told the man that marriage was a requirement. See, because when you go to talking like a woman with some good sense, and a dude go to listening to the depth of your the content of your conversation, he can tell, okay, this chick is hip. Ain't no sense in me playing around here. Pew, and he out of here. And you ain't supposed to grieve that. When you have a deep conversation with a man and he don't call you back, you supposed to celebrate because you just dodged a bullet.
Dang, tell it.
But you weed them out through the conversation, through the talking, and in the process of the talking, you ask questions that only kings can answer. You go to asking deep questions, dude gets scared. When Queen of Sheba went to see Solomon in the Bible says she went to test him with hard questions, and he answered everything because he was a king. Number 3. Now this is important. This one right here is important. Y'all got me at about 678 likes. It'd be nice if I could get to 1,000 before we're done.
Amen.
Watch this. Watch this. Listen to this very carefully. Now we're talking about how you should begin to conduct yourself moving forward in the process of engaging potential men in a relationship. Take your time. Make certain that the conversation is deep and meaningful. Thank you so much. But now watch this. Number 3, expose them to your community. Now, when I say expose them to your community, I'm not talking about your girlfriends who sitting around popping gum and just as clueless as anybody else. No. I'm talking about you and dude on 3rd, 4th date, dude talking about, he feeling you and all of that. I think, we could go somewhere with this. Really? Really? Okay. Well, now you invite dude to the cookout or, whatever side of the track y'all from, family dinner or whatever y'all, call it. Because you want dude now to see, if your daddy's around, dude need to see you got a daddy. Dude need to see that you got brothers. You got some male cousins. Dude need to see mama. Mama need to look dude in the eye. You got to see the reason these guys get such a grip in you and do such damage is because y'all hiding them from the people that got to protect you. Y'all hiding them from the people that got to protect you. And the reason you hide them from the people that got to protect you is because the people that got to protect you know you done had 4 different men in the last, year. So now you got to the point you shame. But babe, don't be so shamed that you run away from your defense system. A lot of these guys get out of pocket with you when they come out. It's because they have no one to be accountable to. But when dude know you got you got a brother that did a bid, pops, got his shotgun sitting at the front door, mom got a pocket knife, and you got 2 or 3 best friends or good friends, that's packing. I promise you, it's gonna change his life. It's gonna change his life. And if you have those strong friends, you know what I mean? Those strong friends that have the spirit of discernment and what have you. Introduce dude, let them see that. Don't ever hide your defense system from a man, because a woman in a world like the world we live in today, a woman needs to make it very clear to a man, if you come the wrong way, I ain't by myself. Listen to what the Bible says in Leviticus 26:8. It says, and 5 of you shall chase 100, and 100 of you shall put 10,000 to flight, and your enemies shall fall before you by the sword. What's the principle? The more y'all there are, or there is, whichever's the right way to say it, the more dude has to be concerned about. You don't hide. Now if a dude can move in and out your family, watch this. Dude can come into your family, meet your daddy, meet your brothers, and dapping up, and they all chilling and talking, and dude take a liking to your brothers take a liking to dude, and they hanging out together. That's a great sign. It's a great sign. Because your brother's gonna tell him, look, you hurt my sister. It's gonna be me and you, bro. Be honest with her now. See, dudes gonna hold one another accountable. But one of the biggest mistakes you ladies make is that even when you have men in your life that will defend you and speak up for you, you keep them out of your romantic affairs because you don't want the men in your life. You don't want their opinion about it. In other words, you don't want to think you in love with a man and then bring him home and daddy and your brother say, And then every time they tell you that, they're always right. It's not until you can kept dude a secret and now he's, putting his hands on you. Now you sliding home trying to get your brothers. I want to tell you something. He putting his hands on me. Who putting their hands on you? This dude I'm with. How long you been with him? 8 months. Why haven't you brought him for me to see?
Yep.
Somebody type in the thing for me, common sense. Just type common sense right there.
Yep.
Now watch this. Letter D. Letter A, time. Letter B, talking. Letter C, expose them to your community. Letter D, always follow a man's pace. And now watch this. This is what I mean by that. Never go faster than the man. In fact, at some point, slow down that he has to back up to reconnect to you. Don't jump out there talking about, oh, I love you. I'm going to just say it. I love you. I love you. And dude looking at you like, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You don't want to be the one to I don't know. I don't know if I can control myself. What you mean you a woman? What you mean you don't know if you can control yourself? You mean tell me you that hot that you gonna tell a man something? You gotta slow down, and you gotta always move at a man's pace. If a man and it's as petty as this. Listen to me
What?
now. I'm teaching y'all. If a man, it's as petty as this in the beginning. If a man chooses to call you once a day,
It's fine.
you're not supposed to be calling this dude 4 and 5 times a day. No. He called once a day. You call once a day, or once every other day. No. Dude, don't ask about making no date to go out. You know, you ain't gonna drop no hints. You know, you ain't desperate like that. You ain't dropping no hints. You gonna move at the pace he's providing. See, because you got to understand, a toxic dude will use a pace to set you up for I call it addiction, where you become addicted to this situation, and he gets your nose wide open, and he gets you to fiending over him. But see, the way you avoid that is you don't allow your heart to move beyond where the dude is. Best case scenario, you ain't supposed to be talking about I love you until dude says it. I don't care what you're feeling. Because love is feeling and all of that, but love is a decision too. It's a decision. And you are not supposed to make that decision to love somebody that has not proven to you, because your heart is much more fragile than a man. A man can move in and out of relationships. He don't care. But every time a relationship ends for you, you got a whole lot of therapy you got to do. You got a whole lot of work you got to do to repair your soul. So, babe, you got to be smart enough as an individual. You got to be smart enough to protect you. Do not move beyond the pace of the dude. Don't run out there. Don't run out there changing your social media thing to my in a relationship. Don't run out there posting pictures of this man and he ain't posting nothing of you. Don't run out there telling everybody, oh, no. You're not going to be sitting around begging a man to marry you, begging a man to engage you. No. You're going to move at his pace. And like I said, at a certain point, wisdom says, slow down, so that if he's really interested, he has to slow down and back up to come and get you, to reconnect to you. See, because when you give yourself to man, you got to know that it's the real deal. I've been on here 40 some minutes. Let me hurry up and finish this, and then I'm done. Always acknowledge your intuitions. Always acknowledge your intuitions. Now, the world calls it intuition. The Bible calls it discernment. You see, you have to understand this. God is talking to all of y'all. Even those of y'all that I don't believe in no God, I don't go to nobody church. God loves you so much, he even talking to you. He's talking to you. And you know that feeling you get in your down in your spirit that says something ain't right about this. This looks good. This is a wonderful package, but something ain't right about this. That's the Spirit of God saying to you, no, don't do this. Don't do this. No, don't do, nada. That's God, babe. In your spirit, you got to slow your emotions down, slow your hormones down long enough to allow your spirit to speak, and pay attention to your spirit. And when you feel that thing in you that says no, you got to respect that. That's the voice of God. And you know what? When you have to email me, thank you so much. And you have to tell me this, and this. What do you think? See, when you got to ask somebody else, what do you think about a dude? It means that your spirit is saying, in most cases. So that's my little spill for tonight. I just wanted to get that out. I've been preoccupied with a lot of things. Evening. Hope everybody's doing great. 50, 60 years old. You're not ready to date because you're just kind of you're setting yourself up for um, massive abuse. You know. Now, if you're coming to me and you're saying, "Well, Pastor, I think I'm ready to date um, because um, I'm just at that place where I would like companionship. I would like, the company of a man. And I feel good about my life. And I think I could add something to somebody else's life. I say go for it. But if you come in there and, you're 40 years old, you're 50 years old, 60, 70 years old, and you still struggling with your identity and you feel like you need a man. See, and Vanessa, that's really where we should be. Vanessa said I could go either way. See, when you get to that point where I can be happy by myself, I can be cool if I have the right person. Now you know that you're mature enough and you're healthy enough to actually consider dating. But never allow yourself to date out of need. It's a setup for abuse. The moment you allow yourself as a woman to be in a position that you are depending on a man to be in place and to be faithful and consistent, you're depending on a man to do that, and your well-being is attached to that. You don't really need a therapist to figure out that that's not a good route to go. And if you have that mindset, before you push yourself out there or allow yourself to go out there and set yourself up because you're really reacting to low self-esteem, you should really get a counselor or a therapist that you can work through those issues. Because this is not the day, nor is it the time for a woman to depend on a man for her lifeline. This is not the day. And I know you have people that get on here telling you about, you just supposed to accept anything and just to have a man. That's foolery. Foolery. If you can't have the right kind of man that's going to treat you right, and if you can't be well adjusted and balanced and healthy in the process, you don't need a man. So never allow yourself to date out of need. Listen to what Proverbs 25:19 says. Confidence in an unfaithful man in time of trouble is like a broken tooth and a foot out of joint. If you are dating, if you are 40 years old, 50, 60, 70 years old, and you're dating out of need, the chances are slim to none that dude is really going to hold you down. And in a lot of cases, you're going to be taken financially. Because here's the truth. Here's the truth. We have more women now, especially in the Black community. I'm not certain about the other community, but especially in the Black community, we have more women now who are succeeding in their careers, more educated, higher earners, than we have men.
Can't say that enough.
Of the same caliber.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're a woman 40, 50, 60 years old, chances are that you're doing better financially than a lot of the guys that you might meet. And if you're dating out of need, it may be a bank robbery. You should never date out of need. You should consider dating. And now let me clarify this. It's unfortunate that I have to take my time and explain this, but this is the culture and the times that we live in. Dating is not equivalent to a sexual relationship. I know a lot of you, the culture has conditioned you to believe that dating is always equivalent to a sexual relationship. That's not the kind of dating I'm talking about. That's called adultery,
or fornication. That's not called dating. That's adultery or fornication. The dating I'm talking about is where two people come together to explore the souls of each other, to see if they are compatible, and if they can, find a future together. If they can't, maybe the relationship is just meant for companionship. Dating is not a sexual relationship. You have to lose that in your thinking as a woman. And I have to say this even to 40, 50, and 60-year-old women. Women today feel obligated to give a man sex because he brought you out 2 or 3 times, and y'all say y'all exclusive now. Well, I think you have to revisit your personal standard. Now, I'm a Christian. I don't force my my beliefs and all of that down the world's throat. I don't, because I have all kinds of people that come on here. But I would suggest, as a woman especially, that you not lie your body down in a bed for every man that you call yourself dating. Because that is, you may not believe it, but it is going to be emotionally traumatizing when you finally wake up. When you finally wake up and you realize who you are and you know your worth, and you realize how little you gave all of your value away for, that's going to be something to process and deal with for you as a woman. It's just not the same as a man. I know y'all say, well, the men do it, but you're not a man. And it's just, society is not going to treat you the same. Your psyche is not built the same. And you cannot equate dating with sex. I just had to say that. But number one, never allow yourself to date out of need. If you need a man, you don't need a man. If you need a man,
what are you talking about, James King?
He's saying you gotta want a man, but if you need him,
a man,
then you don't need him.
And more than
I'm
likely,
talking about James King,
where you feel like you need
I was
a
talking about
man,
capacity.
you are not pursuing your life's purpose, because purpose can consume you. When you really locate your purpose consumes your life. You have to intentionally stop and make room for somebody else in your life when you are living on purpose. There's nobody that's living on purpose that ever says, oh, I need a man. If I don't have a man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna lose my mind. No. Purpose consumes 24 hours a day. You find a man that's worthy of you. You then pause it and you stop and you make room for this man to fit into your life. If you're a woman that needs a man, more than likely you have not located, or if you have located, you're not in pursuit of your purpose, because your purpose is all fulfilling. I promise you it is. Purpose is all fulfilling. And any woman that is really working in her purpose knows why the Creator made you, why you exist. She's a woman that can be like, I think it was Vanessa, that can take it or leave it, either way it goes. If a good situation comes along, great. If not, I'm still cool. Because what? I'm married to my purpose. Because dating and desperation are a combustible combination. If you're desperate, you don't need to be out there, man. I promise you. If you're desperate for a man, if you sit in there right now and you're listening to me and you really haven't, a real transparent and take an objective look at yourself, step outside of yourself and look back at yourself,
out of your feminine self,
that I'm desperate for a man. Dating and desperation are a bad combination. It always ends bad. You need to just pause it, and you need to say to yourself, you're not ready. You're not ready. Okay, number 2, dating after 40. Now, these things go for, these same principles go for younger women, but younger women don't really hear this. Younger women don't really hear this because got it popping. They just don't realize
they got it popping.
The little season they in is just that. It's just a season. And then they're going to have to grow up and they're going to have to think and function like a real grown woman in this real dangerous world. And then it's then that they're going to come around and want to hear conversations like this. But right now they don't want to hear it. They just think they cute enough. They can, use their cuteness and use their little shape and their little figure and all that kind of thing. That stuff doesn't. Okay, number two. Never hide yourself to make a man comfortable. Because society says to you,
thank you.
This is the language.
Say that again.
Uses. Oh, you didn't hit the wall. You over the hill. I think they say you over the hill now at 28. You're 28 years old. You over the hill. You hit the wall. You in the. Somebody was emailing me asking me about the dangers, the danger zone, and all of this kind of thing. I don't know about no danger zone. But I do know that's a lot of BS. And if I wasn't, I'd tell you exactly how I feel about it if I wasn't on a public platform. That's a lot of BS, man. Let me tell you something. There is somebody in the world that's going to love you for you.
Thank you.
You never have to, because when you listen to all of these lies that society gives you, you feel like you got to hide your age. I got to lie about my age as a woman.
I got to act really feminine.
I don't get it. I mean, I
got to act feminine.
My wife's never had a problem with telling her age.
No opinion.
I don't get why y'all scared to tell your age, You hide your age. Then if you've accomplished some things, you probably, hiding your accomplishments. If you're, well educated, you dumb yourself down because society says these are the things you need to do to make a man comfortable. Let me tell you something. Let me pause you right there. You don't have to make a man comfortable. A woman does not have to make a man comfortable. It's not your job to make a man comfortable. It's his job to make you comfortable.
Tell it.
And you're starting out with the wrong mindset, hiding yourself, because you're dealing with somebody. You feel like a piece of man is better than none at all. So, you're dealing with a man that's beneath you in a whole lot of ways. And so now you have to diminish yourself, dumb yourself down, hide your true
preach, brother,
so that this dude can feel comfortable. You know what that's like? And this is probably an illustration that all of you women are going to get. That's like being so desperate for a shoe that you bring your happy self up in those people's shoe store, knowing you wear 8, and then people tell you all they got is a 7. And you spend all that money on that shoe and smash all your toes up in that shoe, trying to wear that shoe and can't even get from the house to the garage in that shoe before you got to take it off. What am I saying? You will never be comfortable in something that is too small for you. So you should not at 40 years old and up, you should not be out here hiding yourself from a dude that is not enough man to accommodate you.
Duh. Say that again.
If he ain't enough man to deal with all that you are, your age, your accomplishments, your mistakes, your children. Some of y'all out here hiding the fact that you got children. Why would you do something like that? Never hide yourself to make a man comfortable. You don't cover yourself up, showing just pieces of yourself to make a dude comfortable. Amos 3:3 says, can two walk together except they be agreed? How are we going to go in the same direction if we not on the same page? If I got to lie to you, if I have to misrepresent myself to you, y'all give me some thumbs. I ain't got but 276. Give me some likes on this. I need to get to at least,
please make sure y'all gave me my like. People in the bushes.
If you have to misrepresent,
make sure y'all hit that like. My people in the bushes.
A man comfortable. He ain't the man for you.
See.
You ain't got to make no man. He's not a child. That's not a child. You got to tuck in. This is a grown, supposedly grown man. You do not have time to be around here perpetrating and trying to make a grown man comfortable. It's his job, again, to make you comfortable. If he can't deal with all that you are, let bygones be bygones. It is what it is. Keep it moving. But Pastor, you don't understand. I need a man. Babe, if you need a man, you don't need a man. Go sit yourself down somewhere. If you need a man, you do not need a man. Praise the Lord. Okay, number 3. Now here's a big one here. Here's a big one. Dating after 40. Number 3. Be aware of masculine, feminine energy. Be aware of masculine, feminine energy. Now, let me just take a moment to explain, unpack that.
He gonna mess up the whole video.
We live in a culture. We live in a world where the masculine energy of a man and the feminine energy of a woman has been so confused that we have feminine men and we have masculine women. And when I say a masculine woman, I'm not suggesting her sexual preference, because you have heterosexual women who are very feminine in terms of their their dress code, their mannerisms and what have you. You can have all of that and still have masculine energy. And if you're 40 years old, 50 years old, 60 years old, and you're still dating, more than likely society, or life, should I say, has put you in a position where you've had to shoulder the load.
That's right.
More than you should have.
I'm tired.
You've either not had a man in your life to ever shoulder the load.
That's right.
You could actually rely on and depend on. Or you had a man and maybe he, I don't know, for whatever reason, y'all didn't make it or whatever, and you were left to figure it out for yourself. And so now for a period of time, you have been shouldering the load. You've been making the decisions. You've been making the calls. If you're bumping the night, you the one getting the gun. You the one going to the backyard. You the one got to protect yourself. And you the one got to earn, you know what I mean? You the one got to change the oil. You the one got to open the door for yourself. And so now you've been masculinized so long.
Who said to open up my stuff?
And you didn't ask for this. It's just what life threw at you. That now when you get okay, let me add another one to that. You deal with feminine men who refuse to do these things. You kept them around because, whatever they was good for, I don't know. Y'all pretty much know what they was good for. And that's all they was good for. You dealt with feminine men so long that you think this is just the way it is. And so now you're wearing and you're owning this masculine energy. And then you get you meet a dude that is masculine. Everything about him is masculine, which means what? He's the kind of cat, he gets offended if you try to pay the bill. He gets offended if you come here talking about half. He gets offended. He gets offended if you reaching for a door. He wants to open the door. He's a masculine man. In the mind, in the psyche of a masculine man, he takes care of his woman. He shoulders the load for his woman. He gets offended if you have a need and you go somewhere else, for somebody else to help you, and you don't talk to him about it. He's a masculine man. He has a desire to provide. He has a desire to hold you down. He has a desire to cover you. But when you have carried this masculine energy so long that you do all of these things for yourself, watch this. You have to step back from the process and process, because you could very well be carrying masculine energy, attracting feminine men who are never really good candidates for mates. If you desire a real marriage, you keep attracting these feminine men that have no desire to hold anything down, no desire to work, no desire to be the man, and at the same time, simultaneously, you're turning off masculine men. So you have to be aware of masculine, feminine energy. When you leave corporate America, or you leave your business, and you get through giving out orders and all of that, now you're dating, you have to intentionally shift your mindset. You have to intentionally shift let the man be the man. Let the man be the man. Let him open the door.
Okay.
Sit in that seat. Wait for him to come around and open the door for you.
That's right. Damn it.
Let the man be the man. Don't walk out in front of dude. Y'all walking, you don't walk. You so used to running the show, you running off in front of man and all this kind of stuff. That's masculine energy. Masculine energy. And there are a lot of things where this presents itself or manifests itself, and you don't even realize it. Okay, let me see something here. You could misrepresent yourself to a masculine man, or if you don't check your masculine, if you don't check the masculine, your masculine energy, his feminine energy. See, not only are you checking for toning down your masculine energy, but you're also checking for this dude's feminine energy. If a dude sits there and he's comfortable with you paying the bill, I wouldn't go out with him no more. See, because a masculine man, he'll spend his last dime to make certain that he impresses his woman. Any dude sitting there comfortable with you paying the bill, not caring, just nothing strong about him. Nothing says I'm a leader. Whatever you say, whatever you say, he can't make no decisions. Where we gonna go, whatever you say. Well, he letting you choose because he expect you to pay. You got to check for that feminine energy. His feelings always hurt. He dropped you off. You're not even in the house. He done pulled off and left you outside the house. He don't know if you got in the house. That's feminine energy. A masculine, you got to check for, see, because a lot of y'all don't know, where this kind of man at. He ain't coming your way because you got the masculine antennas up. You got to pull those masculine antennas down, and you got to learn how to stop being the boss, and you got to learn how to sit back. And I'm not telling you to dumb yourself down, but I'm telling you to calm yourself down. And if you have a man that will make a call, let him make the call. Let him lead. I promise you, let him lead. And you got a little dude that, and see, you can see this on the first date. Why waste any more time? And then the biggest mistake you can make is take a little feminine man and go there and start having sex with him. It ain't nothing but a mess. And now you talk yourself into this, and because you had sex with the man, and he don't want to work, you making 6 figures a year, so he see you as a gravy train, and so now he'll marry you. You want we're going to get married. Yeah, I'll get married. You got to ask him to marry. I'll marry. And then you got this little dude. You married this man, and then you wake up and you realize you ain't got no husband. You got a son. Because you should have checked this masculine, feminine energy from the get-go. Okay, number 4. At 40 years old, 50 years old, 60 years old, 70 years old, and you dating, make your intentions clear. That's little girl mistakes. That's little girl mistakes. Some of y'all still making. You know, you say you never. I've been dating for X amount of years, never got married, but you never told a man that this was your expectation. That you're not just a girlfriend. You're not a booty call. That I am a wife, and I'm waiting on my husband. Are you looking for a wife? You have to make, and I'm not telling you to be, I'm not telling you to be psycho and go on the first date. You looking for a wife? You looking for a wife? I'm a wife. No. I'm not telling you to do that. Chill, let things develop. But homeboys, man, I'd like to see you again. I'd like to go out again. Well, once he say that, and y'all on the next date, now it's time for you to make your, you know, brother, I think you're a handsome guy. I think from what I've heard, you seem like a very nice man. There could possibly be some potential here, but I have to be honest with you. I'm not desperate. And I'm looking, at this stage, I'm looking for a husband. I'm not just looking to be now, unless you are just comfortable being a girlfriend, it's up to you. But if you own a husband, you need to make that known. You need to make that known. You don't need to just waste 2 or 3 years and then you have a blow up and then you say you wasted up 3 years of my life and you ain't married me. I never wanted to be married. You never told me you wanted to be married. You have to make, as a grown woman, you have to understand that you are responsible to make your intentions clear as you go. Don't waste your time like a little girl just around here having fun and understanding at this stage in life that there are some things that are more important. In Matthew chapter 5 and verse 37, it says, but let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay, for whatsoever is more than these cometh of evil. In other words, let your communication be clear. Be clear. Now that if your clarification of what you require and what you need runs him off, he needed to be run off. Never concern yourself with running somebody off. Not when you are being true to yourself. But you gotta be clear. You gotta be clear. You gotta be clear.
Dingy. What language you speak, boss lady?
Number 5.
What language do you speak?
A thing. Call a thing a thing. Don't try to make a husband out of a clown. Call it what it is. I know you're hopeful. I know you've tried this 7 times before and none of it worked out. So you're hopeful and you're trying to be optimistic. But babe,
boss said you gotta get off that stuff, man.
You know what a thing is.
I don't know what I was writing, girl. I thought I had wrote it right. And then I looked up at the screen. I was like, oh my goodness.
I said, was she speaking German or something?
I think it was, girl. I was writing German.
It was dingy ling. Dingy ling. You see it, right?
Yeah, it sounds horrible.
Ding, ding, ding.
That's what I was doing when I was talking to that girl on Vigo, and she was saying, "You gonna have to make yourself clear." Because at first it seemed like I was trolling, but I was just hitting the wrong damn thing.
I remember using the wrong daggone somebody page just talking. Well, they didn't even know you was in the
I was in Cola's page and was calling her somebody else.
Oh God. Ding ding ding. Okay. Sure. No problem. I got you. Now they told me I'm showing I had kids in the video. Well, they ain't showing me the spot where the kid was at. So I'm like, what kid? Is it even Shishi or they think Demi? Cause they did it when I was playing Demi. So I thought it was for the music, but I'm showing kids. I'm like, what?
Kids?
And then that's an outside video. So what
ain't no kid been in that video. Unless they talking about Velvet's kids.
No, the video I was doing before they cut me off. Yep, and they put me on punishment for 7 days. So now we gotta bring the fuckery to my other channel. I have to bring the fuckery to my other channel.
What kid they talking about? Are you sure?
Mm-hmm. That's when they cut off next minute. I said, "Oh fuck!" Then I seen what they cut me off for. I'm like, "Oh fuck!"
So who did they think was a kid?
I don't know. Maybe they thought Demi was a kid or Shishi. I don't know. I should have said ding-a-ling, ding-a-ling, ding-a-ling. Ding-a-ling. Okay.
Oh hell no! Why you know what? How you know to say it like that?
I'm reading here. I know how to read. Oh my God.
Now you making me feel bad because she was like, you gonna have to, boss lady, you gonna have to make more sense than that.
You should have said ding-a-ling. Ding-a-ling. Yay.
I had to throw that girl some whatever the things is because I felt so bad for trolling her like that and was spelling shit wrong. I said, "Oh man, I'm Hollywood. I can't be looking bad out here."
You better slow down, girl. You better slow down on that good stuff. On that messing. Ding-a-ling. Slow down. But this was almost finished. You know, we had to get a laugh at him, and then I got tears coming out my eyes. Right?
Ding-a-ling.
Oh, God.
The clown that has stolen someone's
I couldn't even
crown.
take it back. You should have seen me.
The crown
They said I had to log in order for me to take my comment back, and I was trying to log in. I couldn't log in. I was like, "Oh my God, they're gonna see it."
About, you know, when I was
I like to pass it up. This pastor here.
It wasn't now. No, it ain't here. God bless you till we meet again. It ain't here. You got to learn at 40, 50, 60, 70 years old, you got to call a thing, man. This is not it. And I'm not talking about judging a guy based on superficial things. I mean, when you've had a chance to feel a guy's soul and you realize he's just not deep enough, or he's just not spiritual enough.
Yeah.
Or he just does not command your respect like that. You got to call a thing. Because if you don't, this is what happens. And this is what you cannot afford. You know, really, you never can afford it, but you definitely can't afford this after 30. Absolutely not after 40. Most certainly not after 50. You cannot afford to continue to take on projects. If you don't call a thing, you're going to end up with a bunch of projects.
That's right.
A bunch of projects. That one didn't work out. This project didn't work out. You have a collection of projects. That project didn't work out. And all of these projects are consuming your value. But when you can discern and you can call a thing, say, no, this is a clown. Yeah, I'll give it to you. Girlfriends all talking all that. He's so cute. He's so fine. All that old foolish talk, man. You done had cute and fine for the last 40 years. You need more than cute and fine now.
Nice.
This is a cute, fine dummy. This dude is cute and fine, but this dude cannot, there's no critical thought within this cat. He can't hold a 30-second conversation. I got this dude, but I won't even bring him to the Christmas party at my job because I'm afraid somebody gonna talk to him. You got to call a thing a thing. You don't have time to waste, babe. You got to call it like you see it. Don't be rude. Don't hurt nobody's feelings. Don't crush no dudes. But you know, if he don't take the hint that you're not returning his call and he keep calling, then you may just have to have that polite conversation with him. I think you're a nice person, but this ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work. You got to call a thing a thing. That's for little girls, man, who exploring that, don't know no better and, dating dudes that's clearly not qualified. That's not for you. You're supposed to be wiser than that. And then, number 6, dating after 40, you got to ask dude grown man type questions. And nothing, I'm not saying put him on the spot, but I am saying give him an opportunity to show his depth. You have, after 40, you want to ask, ask dude questions about politics. What do you think about, the Trump's nominee for the Supreme Court? Do you think she's going to actually tamper with Obamacare? What are your thoughts about that?
It's almost time to lay down.
Well,
yes, it's time to go lay down. We get out tomorrow. Me too.
What you said, Lisa? Yeah, what's a nominee? Break it down for a brother. Break it. No. Okay. What are some of your investment strategies? What are some of your investment strategies? I have friends that. What do you do? Well, I invested in this Corvette. And that's kind of like got all my resources tying up. I invested in. Okay, I got you. You have any advice on how I can create some additional income streams? Well, that I think you just got to ask. You got to ask questions that reveals a guy's level. Because let me tell you something: at 40 years old, 50 years old, 60 years old, a man that cannot make love to your mind, a man that cannot intrigue you intellectually. You may think that you're still in this place as a woman, that you just need a man that's strong in the bedroom and all of that kind of thing, and talking all that filthy language, and just got your mind blown and all that. Maybe part of it, but you're gonna need more than that. You're gonna have to have a man that you can sit down with and you watch. He has to be deep enough that when you go to talking your dreams, he can add to your conversation. And you see a man that is really deep enough, he may not know about all of this stuff. You'd be amazed at the stuff that Lisa teaches me. But I'm deep enough to be able, I'm comfortable enough as a man, I'm smart enough as a man to be able to say to her, now stop right there. What is that? What do you mean by that? I'm not going to say, no. Explain that to me. And then she explains it to me, and then I can add to that conversation, you see? And while she knows certain things I don't know, there are a lot of things that I teach her. But if you have a man that's not your equivalent intellectually, I promise you, you're gonna get extremely frustrated, and you're going to more than likely disrespect this man, which leads to nothing good. So you need to ask grown man questions to see if this dude is really thinking like a grown man, or is this just a grown boy that has gotten older but not more mature. He has to be equivalent intellectually. He has to be, because let me tell you. I mean, and I know that you all, and I don't fight you. I know you all put a premium on looks and all of that. And I'm not saying that you need an ugly man. I am saying that you need a man that you don't have no problem looking at. But if you have a rating system of 1 to 10, if you got a dude that's a 7 or even a 6, but he's intellectually there, he putting his monies together, he's financially, he's spiritually there. Dude maybe 6 or 5, but a lot of the stuff y'all call swag, you can bring the dude to Neiman Marcus and do that for him, especially if he got his own credit cards. You can bring him to Saks Fifth Avenue and do that for him. You can swag him out. All dude needs is a haircut. Get him a haircut, put the right clothes on him, get him a manicure. But don't bypass a man that is your equivalent intellectually, because that's something you don't find every day. That's something you don't find every day. All right, let me get out of here, y'all. Okay. What about, here's a question that I had that I guess fits into this here. And I'll shut it down with this. What about a woman that's 40, 50, 60, 70, dating a younger man? What are your thoughts about that, Pastor? Pastor, what are your thoughts about, I'm 65 and I'm dating a young man that's 30. What are your thoughts about that? Well, I think that you have to approach a situation like that with your eyes wide open. I'm not saying it cannot work. I'm not saying it does not work, because quite frankly, I know some people who have that age gap. Of course, it's the man that's the older and the woman that's the younger. But then there's a situation where there's a marriage that was in our church. The lady just recently passed. She was much older and he was much younger. And they had been married for, 20-some, maybe 30 years, and it worked. But I would say you have to approach that with your eyes wide open, and you have to have realistic expectations. Every older woman is not going to get a younger man to marry her. It's not going to happen in most cases. I think if you're approaching a younger man, older woman situation, I think you should listen for certain language. Like you're dating and you're on your third date or so, the dude telling you about his dreams. Always be leery when a man start telling you about his dream. Yeah, I got these dreams. No, I don't want to hear about your dreams. I want to hear about your plans and your present actions. I don't hear about your dreams, because when a dude start talking about his dreams, he's trying to get you to finance it. I can just get somebody to invest in me. Money to believe
yes, sir.
You got to make sure that's something you got to look out for. You have to make certain that
They want
Dude
you to
is not
finance
trying to
it.
use you as a come up.
Mm-hmm.
You got to make certain of that. You need to find out what why, what is he attracted to? Now, granted, you have a lot of older women that have younger men, which defeats a lie that society tells you all, that the older you get, the less attractive you are. A lot of these young men want to experience older women. Now, don't ask me to explain why, because I ain't gonna go that deep. I ain't going that deep with you.
Yeah.
But a lot of
They're
young
looking for a
men
mommy.
want to experience older women and legitimately are attracted to them. But I think you're fooling yourself if you allow it to go too far and you get too emotionally invested, because at the end of the day, you're talking about two different frequencies. There's a conversation that you will be able to have as a 50-year-old woman that a 30-year-old man will have to skate around to figure it out. There's a depth that you can go to. And there are conversations that you will need to have that you should be able to have with your man. But if your man is 30 years younger, you probably have to go somewhere else to have those conversations, because he's just not had the life experience. Now, if you can deal with that, and if the young man is legitimately, you feel like he's legitimately committed to you, and you know, but all I can say is you got to go into that with your eyes wide open. Me personally, as a man, even if I were single today or tomorrow, I could not see myself with no woman that much younger than me, because I need somebody that understand what I mean when I say my back hurt.
Yep. Yep.
Where the Bengay at, Lee?
Yep.
I don't even know Bengay. What is Bengay? What is Bengay? Yeah. I need somebody that understands. Oh yeah, I got your tube empty. I need somebody on the other side of the rope say, "Yeah, I got a brand new tube. Use mine. You want me to rub it on for you, babe? Get that heating pad too, because the heating pad make it go in there. Yeah, you're right. The heating pad. Yeah, I need somebody that can speak my language. I don't need a young child.
I always say that.
What a
Thank
heating
you.
pad is, what Bengay is. No,
exactly.
No. You got to speak my language
for me.
But I mean, that's some people are younger spirited than I am. I was kind of old before I was older, so, but does it work? Yeah, it works. Yeah, it works. So that's it, y'all. I'm done. I'm done.
Yep, he's done. Hopefully you guys enjoyed these videos. They wait till we leave for these damn Russian people. Anyway, hopefully you got something out of this one. So when I want to show my fuckery, I have to go over to sugar number 2, because Tony ass is in jail, in YouTube jail. All right, guys, y'all have a good night. Thank you, James. Thank you, Tika. Thank you, Caroline. You so fine. You sweeter than cherry pie. Oh, Caroline. Nicole, my ride or die. You are my ride or die. Whoa, yeah. She don't want to sing. You hear Miss Keefus? Now she don't want to sing. Ugh. All right. Vote for Shishi. No, it's close. I ain't on Bigo. I ain't on Bigo. I just watch whatever they let me see, but I don't have an account in Bigo. All right, family. I see y'all in the morning. Boss lady.